coming today, and today we're very happy to have Dr. Mary Key here, and she has helped for over 20 years, which I don't think you were old enough to have done. I don't think you did. Help entrepreneurs and their companies achieve exponential growth through the system of right focus, right people, and right execution. So I don't want to take a lot of her time, but I'll tell you she currently serves as president of CEO Florida Forums, providing CEOs and key leaders and technology-driven companies with peer forums and resources to advance their growth at all levels, and also partners with Grow Florida and Florida's economic gardening programs to assist with the goal of supporting the sustainability and growth of stage 2 companies in Florida. So thanks for being here, Mary.
Thank you, Wendy. Pleasure. Wendy, she organized all of this. Oh, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm having these experiences getting here. I was with the CEO forum, and one of the CEOs had a real issue. This is a smaller group of businesses are between 1 and 10 million in size, and we don't have a lot of staff, and I'm sure those of you that are incubating a company really get that more than anybody. So I was trying to be polite and listen and helpful, and also keep reminding the person that I had to leave. So I think I'm 275, and I'm just hitting the gas, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get there, and all of a sudden everybody puts their brakes on. All my stuff from the back seat and front seat goes flying to the front of the car. So I'm trying to move the junk near my gas pedal, and all of a sudden I'm in my rearview mirror, I see this truck on the other side. And yet, fortunately, we were on the left-hand side, and there was an emergency lane. But if there wasn't, we would have run into us. So I know we all go through those things, but it's kind of like, I got here, we're all here. And because we're a little smaller group, you heard a little bit about me, and I'm all about helping leaders and organizations grow. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about leadership. I want to talk to you about leadership in the context of entrepreneurial organizations. But I just wanted to take a minute. I think I get to say hello to everyone and you twice. I'd just like to hear a little bit about, just briefly, do you have a company? Do you work here? And what attracted you to coming on a beautiful sunny day today on Thursday? Would you like to start?
My name is Ron Goldberg. I'm a minister, and I work with college students here.
Okay.
And as a volunteer advisor, I'm just trying to get the group grounded here. And also our congregation, well, I help the two of them, and one of them is just a year old planting, and they're asking me to help work with raising leaders.
Okay, great. So leadership's of interest.
Yes.
Ladies?
Hi, my name is Dula Swami. We have a company here in the incubator, and we are developing a technology. Not developing, we have a technology that we're taking to the market, and we have been talking with VCs, and we're pretty close. Hopefully, we have some things that we need to fill up the gaps so that we can get some funding, and feel like we are getting closer to that, and that's what we do.
Great.
Hi, I'm Jyoti Rao. I'm visiting my sister here.
Okay.
I'm a physician, and I'm interested in leadership.
I just spoke at Stanford, actually, on emotional intelligence. It was to their hospitals and clinics. So we have a lot of physicians in the group.
I'm Ashley Christie. I'm a real estate agent, and I just wanted to come to learn how to ways I can improve my business and then just in everyday life.
Okay. Great.
I'm Stan Seelig. I'm a chemical entrepreneur, consultant, and also a leader. And I'm chair of the Division of Small Chemical Business with the American Chemical Society. I'm also looking to get an incubator here for my company called Waterless Cleaning,
Wow.
where we're looking to bring dry cleaning into the homes. And as far as being a leader, I'm a leader, and I know you always can learn more about being a better leader. So there is no end when it comes to learning.
Thanks. And those little packets that you put in your dryer, they really don't work to dry clean clothes. So they're onto something.
Now, this is truly like dry.
Hi, I'm Victoria Sarkise. I have a company that is focusing on fitness. And it's called Camelback. I'm wearing it today. And I'm here just to learn more about leadership.
My name is Perkis. I have a company right here at the incubator. We are trying to develop a blood-based diagnostic test for
you do?
We know you're in law.
Yes, I am. I'm a local property attorney. I already knew everything.
We just have to pay
I
for it.
figured I would come and see what you're letting people know. My practice focuses on startups and entrepreneurs. So anything that I can learn to help them, I think the value to me. Plus, in my leadership role within the firm, I have a bunch. So I thought it would be a good thing to be.
Well, you can be a help to me. If you can find a way to create original IP, stuff that I do, that would be wonderful.
Actually, you probably already have created original IP. I just like that.
Exactly. Good line, all right. Someone helped you with your
I didn't
election.
actually create anything.
My name is Debbie Artson. I'm one of the mentors in the OSF Connect and New Boot.
Okay. So you work with Sri?
My leadership background comes out of 12 years of being in Air Force at 16 pilot, line officer. My management background comes out of 5 years of managing a large multi-facility physician practice. I'm here because I have more than a passing interest in leadership and the difference between what I believe it is and the disconnect from what I was taught in business school.
Interesting, okay.
And I can't wait to see which side you're on.
Oh, right. I do want to make this interactive, and I want to make it something where you feel you really leave with at least one solid takeaway that you can apply, or at least think about your leadership differently. There are a lot of slices to leadership. I used to teach occasionally at the University of Tampa in their MBA program, organizational behavior, and for whatever reason, people dreaded the class initially, not once they got to know it, but they dreaded it. Said all these people that had accounting backgrounds that put off taking organizational behavior to the end. And of course, organizational behavior is really the place in business school you tend to focus on leadership, and there are a lot of different stances there. So where do I come from regarding leadership? My background is organizational behavior, and I started out after graduate school working with a consulting firm that specialized in assessing and developing leaders. Some of you may know it. It's called Development Dimensions International. They're still around. They did a lot with the Army War College. What was really interesting is that we would set up simulations, not like the fighter pilot kind, but simulations where you might have a leaderless group, like we have you all in a room and not tell you anything, and then watch how you would behave. And we would do different kinds of exercises to see people display competencies that would tell us maybe they had some kind of leadership capability. And we would do that when people were relatively new in their careers and really didn't have a chance, like some of the seasoned people in the room, to have a track record with what they could do or not. We also did a lot with leadership development, behavioral interviewing, and so it was all about how do you identify, develop, retain, promote successful leaders. And the chairman of our board was an interesting man. His name was Dr. Doug Bray. He's deceased now, but he lived in a time where companies were paying for large longitudinal studies on leadership. And so Doug did 20-year longitudinal studies at AT&T, which they funded to really identify these core competencies of leadership. So that work early in my career shaped a lot of my thinking and also shaped a lot of my asking, what does it really mean to be a leader, and how can we as leaders develop in such a way that the organizations and or the companies that we are affiliated also grow. And it's different on an entrepreneurial level. As you know, how many of you have worked with big companies? Okay, now you're working, with smaller ones, right? Or most of you, some of you need consultants to smaller companies. And there is a big difference. One of the biggest differences is that you have to do a lot by yourself. And so in different leadership functions, when you have the ability to delegate, there's more time to be visionary, there's more time to walk around and reinforce, and there's more time to get involved in a variety of different things. So fast forward, I worked there, I had a leadership position in a consulting firm that was similar, and after doing that I started my own practice. And one of my opportunities was to work with Inc. magazine and help Inc. set up CEO roundtables around the country. And so it was really easy to get to visit with these CEOs because I'd call and say, hi, I'm with Inc. And they all thought, wow, interview me. I'm going to be part of the Inc. 500. We all got excited. And the truth was, I was interviewing them to see if they wanted to participate in a CEO roundtable, where on a monthly basis, CEOs would come together and focus on their business issues. So in my work now, I kind of have a hybrid. I do some big company work. I do quite a bit of work in healthcare, but a lot of my work is with facilitating CEO roundtables, and that's, as I mentioned earlier, that's what I was doing on my way here. So I want to share with you, from my experiences, some things that I think are really important, what I call 3 keys to leadership. Certainly there are more, but they're among what I think are the key attributes of an effective leader. And like with everything, they start within. So I want to talk to you about that from this context. Anybody in the wrong room? Thought you came to some. So I wrote a book. This is the 3rd book I wrote. This one's called CEO Road Goals, right? Focus, right people, right execution. So some of the things I'll be talking about actually come from this research. We talked to over 50 entrepreneurial companies, some of which are good clients of ours, over the years, as well as other entrepreneurs, primarily in the United States, we have some in Canada, to talk about what has made them successful and what has not. And we developed a subtitle from that, CEO Road Rules, right focus, right people, and right execution. And having all those 3 pieces are critical. I would say that some of the things we're talking about today kind of fall in almost all 3 of those camps. I want to start with self-awareness as one of the keys. The 3 keys are self-awareness, self-branding or branding, depending on how large your company is, and also developing a network. So how do I define self-awareness? It's all about recognizing, and you can get copies of these slides, so yeah. It's all, oh, so it's all about recognizing what's going on for you internally and being able to monitor those feelings. Now, why do I say this is one of the most important elements of leadership? It's amazing to me how few leaders are truly in touch with what might be going on inside them. In fact, in CEO Road Goals, I read about an entrepreneur who is so out of touch that he's getting into a very serious car accident for him to begin to realize that his stress level was off the scale, and yet he trained his body in such a way that he wasn't paying attention to those things. So that's one aspect of emotional self-awareness. The other aspect of emotional self-awareness is how it impacts other people. When you're not in touch with what's going on for you internally, often do you think people around you know or guess? So it's like this secret you don't know, but they know, and it really arose as their trust in your ability to lead. I actually coached a CEO of a very successful company, and he said to me, I don't get why my employees don't participate. I have this leadership team, I invested in some really good people, they're paid good salaries, and I'm not sure why they're not participating with me like they should. And I said, well, take me to one of your meetings. And he goes, well, I can't tell him I'm a coach. And I'm like, well, don't worry about that. Just tell him I'm a consultant working with you. I consult sometimes too. And just let me watch. I went look at Marco Rubio with the water. Anyway, so what happened in the meeting was fascinating. I sat there and he introduced me, and then he started going over the agenda and began asking people questions. The minute one of the people in the room would start talking, he started doing this. And then he would stop and at times cut people off. And, I was getting rattled listening to that. So the meeting ended, we walked out, we went into his office, and I thought, surely this man saw what was going on. So I said, Jack, what did you think? He goes, see what I told you? They don't participate. I can't believe it. And so to his credit, he did not realize until I described in detail, that old assessor background came out from my first job at DEI, in a very detailed way, what he said, how he cut people off, and how his finger did not stop tapping. Now, this is a guy that ran a pretty big company, and he worked 6 months on how he could become more aware of his impatience that he was feeling, didn't want to admit he was impatient, and didn't have a clue how his impatience was displaying itself, and was blaming the people around him, his team. So that's a good example. Can any of you think of someone that you worked for that you thought was emotionally very self-aware, and maybe a person who was not? Does anybody come to mind when I ask you that question? Someone came to mind for you. Yeah, we want to share your experience, but what was your experience of that?
Well, I worked a lot with physicians. And they tend to be egocentric. And so they not only, and it's a broad brush, so many of the people with and for whom I worked were not only not self-aware, they totally self-aware is important.
Okay. So yeah, and that's the other part of this. You can't develop self-awareness, which is one of the key components of emotional intelligence. How many of you have heard of emotional intelligence? Okay, emotional intelligence is a quite popular term. I saw most hands go up. Emotional intelligence is all about the ability to be in touch with your emotions, that of others, to monitor yours, and as a leader, realize the impact you're having on their emotions, and to act with resilience and as much objectivity as you can. And so if you're not emotionally self-aware, it's kind of a building block. It's like trust. You can't lead if people don't trust you. Anybody disagree with that statement? So if people don't trust you, they're not going to follow you. They're not going to follow you up the hill. They're not going to, put their money at risk. But if they trust you, that is one of those core building blocks. It's the same with self-awareness, in this context.
As an observer, isn't it interesting to watch how the organization reacts around like ripples coming out from the rock? They can become isolated,
Yeah.
simply disregarded by subordinates as well as peers, or everyone walks on eggshells. I mean, it depends on what their personality is.
Exactly.
But it's ineffective at best and disruptive at worst.
Absolutely. Quite a bit of material to cover, and when he emphasized that we all like PowerPoint, so that's why I brought the PowerPoint. I also wrote a book. I'm a big animal person, cats, dogs, so forth, called What Animals Teach Us: Love, Loyalty, Heroism, and Other Important Lessons from Our Pets. And I interviewed a very successful executive that worked for a company you would automatically know. And I was talking with her because she had gone blind. And I was actually talking with her about her experience in seeing eye dog. But that business corporate hat is always on me, or entrepreneurial hat, always like thinking about the context of things. This is a woman named Pat. She lived in the Midwest. She would override what was going on for her. She would go to all these different events for her company. She'd be working around the clock. She'd be calling her employees at all hours, expecting them to be available. She was head of customer service worldwide. And as she began to drive in different areas in strange cities, she noticed her vision starting to go. And over time, when she went to the doctor said, you have a degenerate eye disease, and unfortunately, your stress is exacerbating what's going on, and I'm not sure we can save your sight. And she, in fact, did begin to go blind, so she came to Florida to go to the Southeast Guide Dog School, which is in Bradenton. So everything she always did was fast, let's get it done, the pedal to the metal. It was no different. She said when she was getting her dog, they gave her a big, strong black Labrador named Barb. She said she would be rushing Bart along, and Bart would be trying to signal to her that there was a limb, and she'd walk into the limb and fall over, and she had to keep going back. She was flunking, basically, guide dog school, because she was so full of her will and drive and desire and sort of overriding everything that was really going on. She decided that she was going to go back to work and she was going to do everything that she did as an executive in this company. And of course, you know, the company was welcoming, they were concerned about her, she was a contributor. She went to a big conference they were holding in New Orleans, and she brought the dog with her. So she gets up early, she's taking Bart out to relieve himself, and the bellman says, "Hey, Pat, how are you?" Because, you know, she would go there a lot. And she said, "Oh, fine, fine." And he said, "Well, can I help you?" She said, "No, no, no, I just need to go out back." So she takes Bart out back, and she's trying to rush Bart along again because she has to get back and get to her booth and all these other things she has to do, right? So Bart starts resisting. And she's like, you know, really getting frustrated with this dog. She's like nudging him, and then when she nudged him, she could feel that the fur on his back was raised. And the dog this time overrode anything she tried to do. There's a command that dogs are taught that if there's imminent danger, you need to, you know, totally not pay attention to the person that you're guiding. So Bart turned around and brought her in through the front of the hotel. She was furious. She sits in the lobby and she's screaming at this dog, "You stupid dog, I'm going to take you back to the guide dog school." She could not believe what was going on. And then this meek little voice said, "Ma'am, please, please don't hurt your dog. I saw the whole thing. I work here in housekeeping. I was on the bus. We were in the back of the hotel. A man was walking towards you with a gun. You could have been shot." And that's when Pat said she finally had this watershed moment. She melted into tears. She started sobbing, hugging Bart, and finally, for the first time in her life, realizing how that was the way she operated with everything. You know, Pat had a lot of people that stopped working for her. She had quite a bit of turnover, but it got compensated for because she worked so hard. So emotional self-awareness is big, and sometimes it takes a huge event like going blind, almost being killed, for people to really get it.